Good day, everyone. My name is Mark Anthony Upeña, and with Ariel Barrios and Josh Prias. Our chosen topic is about lumber. Lumber refers to wood that has undergone hewing, resawing, planing machine, cross-cutting to length, and grading. Lumber is the one of the components material useful as building material from all this history until now in the present. Classification. Lumber can have numerous classifications, among which classifications regarding its finish and use are widely used. And before we proceed, i-relate ko siya sa previous experience ko in furniture shop para maintindihan nyo lalo. Classification by finish. One of rough lumber refers to lumber that has been sawn, aged, and trimmed, but with unfinished or rough surface. Rough lumber, siya yung unfinished na magaspang na kahoy na bago pa lang na dry wood. And ginagamitan siya ng wood planer o katam na tinatawag para mapantay yung surface ng kahoy. Other material na pangputol ng kahoy ay lagari sa kahoy, circular saw at table saw na tinatawag na tistisan para maputol ang kahoy. Dressed lumber refers to lumber whose side has been planned to have a smooth surface. And to achieve this, how smooth surface of wood ay ginagamit lang ito ng liya o paper sand. Kung kamay lang gagamitin mo, pag liya, aabutin ka ng ilang araw para ma-achieve ito. At kung paano ito kuminis, gamitin mo ng sander para mabilis mong mapakinis ang surface lumber at saka mo gamitan ng liya. And may dalawang uri ng ang sander. Una, grinder para sa bakal at sander naman para sa wood. Seasoned lumber refers to lumber that has begun into seasoning to remove or regulate its moisture content. Seasoning the process of inducing evaporation of the moisture contained in wood, a type of hydrothermic treatment of wood to less likely to warp or mold, and it easier to finish with paint or varnish. Additional about finishing. Finishing is the final step of wet processing technology, and we have aesthetic finishes. This type of finishes may change or modify the appearance of the lumber. Yes, I said aesthetic finishes. Ito yung mga outcome ng kagandahan ng wood. Pwede mo siyang gamitin sa foundation ng house, exterior, and also interior just like furnitures, wood sculpture, at mga iba pa. And the functional finishes. This type of finishes changes the internal performance properties of the lumber. For the example of the functional wood, if the wood like Nara, Yakal, at Hamurawon, this wood can longer life. Kumbaga sila yung magandang gamitin, matibay at matagal masira. Kahit dekada abutin ito, buhay pa rin ito. Kahit wala na lola at lola nyo, nandyan pa din buhay na buhay. Oo, totoo sinasabi ko. Sino may mga furniture dito na ang gamit na Yakal o Hamurawon? At tanungin nyo kung ilan taon na ba ito. And also, mas maganda kapag matanda na yung puno bago putulin. But these wood are very expensive. Objective of finishing: to improve and attractive, to increase the life or durability of the wood lumber, to meet up specific requirements of the wood lumber to achieve the final goal. Classification by use: yard lumber, soft wood intended for general building purposes. Board, yard lumber with less than 2-inch thickness and more than 2-inch in width. Dimension lumber, yard lumber with thickness ranging from 2-inch to 4-inch and more than 2-inch in width. Some dimensions are considered as structural lumbers, just like used for the joints and planks, ticking, light framing. As you can see, the image of main woody stem of a tree is a trunk, and divided into pieces and size by size. Joists and planks. Structural lumber is chosen for its resistance against bending and ability to carry load. This lumber is for application where high strength values are required, such as floor joints, rafters, headers, small beams, trusses, and general framing. Decking. Similar to planks but not intended for structural use. The three common choices when it comes to wood decks are redwood, cedar, and pressure-treated wood that can be made of various types of wood species. Light framing. Non-structural lumber intended for non-load-bearing application. For example, this image is the house of simple wood frame construction, full of frames. This is the sample. Most important components elements are the studs, the upright to which sheeting, paneling, or lads, joints or caissons to support a floor or ceiling, and rafters is the parallel beams that support a roof, and the other heavier lumber is used for joints and other supporting timbers. Timbers are yard lumbers having 5-inch or more as its less dimension on either side. All timbers are structural lumbers. Timber, timber is transformed into a wide range of construction materials that are used in building and home construction. This includes dimensional lumbers that are built into walls, floors, and ceilings, such as studs, plates, joints, rafters, beams, fabrics, and support. Beams and stringers. Structural lumber choosing for its resistance to bending stresses on the floor or ceiling beam and under the floor slab for stranger are primarily longitudinal supports. Post and lintel. Structural lumber intended to carry axial loads. This is usually used to hold up a roof, creating a largely open space beneath for whatever use the building is designed. The horizontal elements are called by a variety of names including lintel, header, architrave, or beam, and the supporting vertical elements may be called columns, pillars, or posts. Factory lumber, also known as shop lumber, is a lumber manufactured for usage to other type of woodwork, such as doors, windows, moldings, and other type of wood. And we have two different in the factory lumber which is used is one of match lumber, lumber having edges dressed and shaped to form a tongue, and groove joint when laid edge to edge or end to end. Pattern lumber, lumber dressed and shaped to a pattern or molded form. Thank you for listening. And for the next slide, Ariel will take over.
Thank you, Mark. And so today, I would like to discuss dimensions and measurements. Lumber in the industry is identified in practice by its nominal dimension, rather than its actual or dress size for ease and efficiency. Nominal dimension is used to obtain the unit for lumber volume, which is board feet, basically saying that we address lumber for its nominal dimension rather than its actual measurements. So, what is nominal dimension? Nominal dimension refers to the dimension before drawing and surfacing, commonly used for convenience in computing the quantity of lumber. It is the dimension of the rough cut lumber. Dress dimension refers to as the actual dimension. These are the lumbers that undergone surfacing and seasoning, which significantly reduces the lumber as compared to its original dimension. So, nominal dimension is the measurement for the lumber before it is processed. Dress dimension is its measurement after it is dried and planed or seasoned. As you can see on the table, we locally know dimensional lumber as dos por dos, de cuatro, stuff like that. This is its nominal dimension, while this is its actual or dress dimension. Board feet is the accepted unit of quantity for lumber. It is derived from the volume of a lumber with squared side dimensions, length times width of 12 inch with 1 inch thickness. Board feet is the unit of measurement for the rough lumber. The difference between this and the nominal dimension is that the actual length is used. The following formula is the inverted formula often used in the industry for lumbers with longer lengths. Board feet is equals to the number of pieces times thickness times width times length over 12 inch. And for the next slide, Josh will take over.
Thank you, Ariel. And for seasoning. Seasoning. Freshly logged lumber is not immediately used for construction purposes, as it is soft and prone to degradation due to the existing moisture or water content stored within it. So, the lumber is subjected to seasoning to remove or control the moisture content within the wood. Seasoned wood results into a stronger and harder wood, capable of carrying the intended loads. Because seasoning enhances the basic characteristic properties of wood, which increases the stiffness, bending strength, and the compression strength. Seasoned wood tends to have superior dimensional stability than unseasoned wood. Number of acceptable moisture content or water content. The acceptable number for moisture content is within 25 to 32%, known as the fiber saturation point. Fiber saturation point is the stage of seasoning at which the cell walls of the lumber are fully saturated, but the cavities are void of water. It must be noted that the further the wood is dried out, the stronger, stiffer, and denser it becomes, but also has the side effect of shrinkage. Wood shrinks and swells as a function of moisture content. Above the fiber saturation point, there is no change in wood dimensions according to the moisture content. But as wood dries below fiber saturation point, it shrinks. At under 20% content, most species of wood are decay resistant. Ways of seasoning. There are two widely used ways of seasoning lumber. First is air-dried. Air-dried refers to the lumber seasoned through the exposure in the air. Air-dried is a traditional method for drying lumber. It is the simplest with the advantage for its economical and not energy dependent, but takes the longest time among the two as it can be affected by the changes in the environment, like temperature and weather. It could take up to 6 to 9 months. And the disadvantage of having no control over the heat, air circulation, and humidity. As you can see, this picture is visual presentation of air seasoning. It has a sloping roof to allow water to run off, and timber stock is laid on battens and raised above the ground by the block piers to keep the wood away from vegetation and damp ground. The 15 by 25 mm stickers is a piece of wood that gives space for air to flow through. The wood or log ends are often wrapped or sealed to prevent excessive moisture loss through the area. The second widely used way of seasoning lumber is through kiln-dried. Kiln-dried refers to lumber seasoned through a kiln that has control over the heat, air circulation, and humidity, unlike air seasoning, that results into unevenly dried lumber. Kiln drying is the most common and effective process for drying wood, has the advantage of rapid process of removing moisture through the use of external energy. It takes up to 2 days to 1 weekend depending on the type of the wood. With the ease of monitoring the wood for its desired moisture content, along with the making sure that fungus and insects that may cause degradation are killed during the process. Kiln-dried lumbers often has lesser moisture content than air-dried. In this visual presentation, kiln is like a large oven. The process is that The lumber is stacked in the same way as it is for air drying, and is placed inside a chamber in which the conditions can be varied to provide the best seasoning result. Air is circulated around the stacked lumber, and the temperature and humidity can be varied to provide optimum drying. Each wood has different cell characteristics, and would therefore require different drying schedules. In addition, there are at least two methods used for kiln seasoning. The first method is progressive kiln. Lumber enters at one end and travels on a trolley through chambers with different air conditions to progressive dry wood. The progressive type kiln requires less skill in the operation. It consumes less heat per pound of water evaporated from the wood. The second method is compartmental kiln. Compartmental kiln is a process remains in single building where it is subjected to a program of varying conditions until the moisture content is removed. This process is used for hard to dry or expensive wood. Compartmental type of kiln is more flexible and affords greater control over drying conditions, permitting less change temperature, humidity, and circulation in the kiln.